Now, shall we? Week 2. I can't believe it. And that's how it is. That is how it is here at Full Sail. These weeks are going to fly by. And before you know it, you'll be graduating. For reals. Let's start it off with a quote here, shall we? Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up. Eh? Eh? Pretty awesome quote from an awesome film. Anybody know what it's from? Don't try to Google it. I know that's what you're doing right now. I can tell. Yes, indeed. Alex nailed it. Well, you can say Dark Knight Batman Begins. There it's all yeah, I'll accept both of those. I have this quote here because I want to remind us all that yeah, it's okay to fail. It's okay to if you didn't. I'm going to talk a little bit about the 1.4 and 1.3 grades a little bit, a little, in a jiffy, but I wanted to remind everyone if you didn't get the grade you were hoping to get, maybe you got an A minus instead of an A plus or a B plus instead of an A minus, whatever the case may be. Hey, it is okay. Do not beat yourself up. Please don't think that you're a loser. You need to leave Full Sail or that this is not the degree for you. It doesn't mean any of that. It simply means that you may have overlooked something in the instructions. And that is all. That is all. So what obviously most of you guys know what this quote means. That yeah, get back up and focus, learn, but we learn a lot from our failures, right? Or we should at least. If we don't try, that's failing. That in my book of nerddom wisdom, that is my definition of failing. Yeah, you don't try. You don't try, no effort at all. Anywho, I'm pleased that you all know where that quote is from. And if you don't know, um, it just makes me sad. It makes me very sad. I'm gonna try not to tear up. Anywho, let's move right along. Um, okay, so yeah, what should I be doing? By I mean you guys and gals. Obviously you want to be doing your homework, but the 2.4 and 2.3 assignments, you need to be focusing on that. And come to think of it, I'm going to be talking a lot about both of those assignments in detail. So if you read over the instructions, hopefully you did. If you read over the 2.4 and 2.3 instructions and you might be a little bit foggy as far as what to do, well, I'm going to be talking a lot about them. Be giving some tips. I'll show you an example of the 2.4 assignment. So by the end of of today's session, you'll have a much better understanding. Hopefully, yeah, less panicky. Cool. I shall do my best. All right. Cool. There I go. I'm gonna try not to say I'm gonna try not to overuse the word cool today, but I may fail miserably. All right, the other thing I think you don't have to do it right this second, but definitely when you get out of today's session, check your recording capabilities. Whatever device you are using, whether it's a desktop, laptop, phone, iPad, whatever, tablet, check what kind of recording capabilities you have because the 2.3 assignment that does require voice recording. And again, I'm going to talk a lot more about that in a bit. Just wanted to throw that out there. Also, you want to begin exploring a presentation program that suits your current device. So, uh, everybody see this okay? Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Silly technology. All right. So yeah, you want to start experimenting with presentation programs. Next week is when you're going to have to construct your first full-blown presentation slideshow. So this week you won't need to use anything like PowerPoint. Keynote, Adobe Spark. Next week you definitely will. So what I would recommend is just yeah, jump on the interweb later on and see what kind of presentation program works well with your device. Whatever device you're using, just do a little search. Like if you got an iPhone, do a search, a customized search. Best presentation programs for iPhone. That way you don't, you're not panicking when next week rolls around and you're in need of a presentation program. But again, this is for next week. I just always like to give everybody a little, little heads up as far as what's coming down the road. All right. Okie dokie. So yeah. Also, definitely take advantage of everything going on FS Connect. Like I said last week, there's always something going on. There's always some kind of industry panel workshop that you could be attending. You could be networking. There's lots and lots to do. Just I would check it out daily, see what's going on the FS Connect site. And whoopsie daisy, yeah, apologies. Okay, yeah, and attend workshops online. Don't forget about lynda.com. Awesome, Heath. That is good to know. Heath mentioned there's a new online specific school club that just started. It's the school's first official online club. That's good to know. Yeah, cool. Thank you for letting us know about that, Heath. And yeah, definitely that information. It's probably been, if it's not been emailed to you, it's definitely available on FS Connect. So do check it out, and don't forget to use the heck out of lynda.com. It's an awesome website. Just so many tutorials on virtually any and every software program you can imagine. Like I know I talked about this last week, but just another reminder. There's tutorials on like how to use Adobe Spark, Keynote, PowerPoint, Final Draft, Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, Adobe Photoshop, etc., etc. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. So check it out. Check it out. Alrighty. So yeah, as always, these sessions are being recorded. We are rolling right now. In fact, Brianna, I'm not sure about the name of the club. Each program probably has a different name, but I would just jump on the FS Connect site. Like I said, you don't have to do it right now, but definitely after this session, I'm sure it'll pop up there. Okie dokie. So yeah, after the session ends, I'm gonna post this recording to the 2.1 activity link and the 2.3 discussion board. All right. So yeah. What else? What else? What else? Of course, yeah. Don't try to multitask. And as a reminder, please make sure you're watching these sessions from beginning to end. So, so you don't want to miss out on anything. Like I said, I'm gonna talk a lot about the 2.3 assignment and the 2.4. But if you're kind of checking out after like 20 minutes, you're gonna miss out on a lot of stuff, right? All right. Yeah, you'll definitely miss out if you're multitasking. Okie dokie. So a little bit more about the 1.4 and 1.3 grades. So where are we as far as that is concerned? Okay, so you're going to see grades trickling in for those assignments all day today and all day tomorrow. I'm working as fast as I humanly can to get you guys some grades and feedback on that. So yeah, just be checking check your class page for the grade. And yeah, about that feedback. So remember what I said about the feedback. Certainly, that's what it is. It's feedback designed to let you know where you may have overlooked something, where you may have lost some points, and of course, what you did effectively as well. But you definitely want to read over my feedback and keep track of your grades. I know it sounds like a no-brainer, but yeah, it will certainly help you. All right, so yeah, you'll see grades popping in, trickling in all day today and all day tomorrow for the 1.4 and 1.3 assignments. All right? All right. Awesome. Okay. I always like to throw this in here as a reminder. Anytime you have any kind of tech issues, don't forget about FSO support. That's 855-374-3572. They're the people you call whenever you have any kind of technical issue. Yeah, most of the times tech issues are kind of out of my hands because it usually has to do with something about the server. So this is the number you want to call for that. And I have Dropbox here just to remind you, if you ever need some kind of a sharing file program, Dropbox is really user friendly and it's free. Anybody ever use Dropbox? It's saved me on a few different occasions. So it's a good thing to have this kind of these kind of resources at your disposal, right? So yeah, use Dropbox or something like that. I know Google Drive has something similar to that as well. All right, so this is actually really important. So I may have reminded you about this last week, but just this is going to be helpful in every single class you have at Full Sail University. So try to submit your assignment at least a couple of hours prior to the deadline. Yeah, I mean, you never want to wait to the last minute. I would even avoid working on it on the day of the deadline just because we all know about Murphy's Law, yes? If something can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong, right? And that's what tends to happen if we might be procrastinating, yeah. But yeah, if at the very least, give yourself a couple of hours. That way, if something goes wrong, you have a little bit of time to kind of work out the kinks or whatever. Of course, if you can submit before that, even better, even better. Yeah, yeah. Nobody needs that kind of stress, right? I know I don't. All right, so moving right along. So we're going to talk about the 2.3 and 2.4 assignments. So the 2.3 assignment, and I know you guys have a ton of questions, so I'm going to, little by little, I'm going to be going over both of these assignments. So all I ask, little tiny favor, is your patience, please. please, please let me, I got a lot to go over. So yeah, the 2.3 assignment, if you've already reviewed the instructions, you will have discovered that it's two-part. There's two parts to it. So the first part is a recording. And the first part, the recording part, is due Thursday, right? Okay, so your reply posts for the 2.3 assignment are due Sunday, right? Very important. So the recording part of the 2.3 assignment, that's due Thursday, and the reply posts are due Sunday. Now, your 2.4 assignment, the planning and presentation assignment, the one that's due Sunday, that's called planning a presentation. Yeah. Same day. That is due Sunday as well. And we all pretty clear as far as the due dates. Everybody good on that? All right, cool. Fantastico. All right, good. So the 2.4 assignment, first and foremost, very, very important. I need some scary music for this. Very, very important. So for your 2.4 assignment, the planning, yeah, exactly. Dun, dun, dun. For the planning a presentation assignment, do not even think about using PowerPoint, Keynote, or any other presentation program. So for the planning a presentation assignment, for the 2.4 assignment, don't use PowerPoint, don't use Keynote or any other kind of presentation program. All right? All right. Now, there's a reason for that. It's not just because I'm a jerk. It's because the 2.4 assignment is not a presentation. And we all know that PowerPoint, Keynote, those are great programs if you're building a presentation, if you're making a slideshow where your images are going to be the central focal point. In this case, the 2.4 assignment is not a presentation, so it's a plan. It's a plan where you're going to need to write out some responses to a series of questions. Yeah, exactly, Osvaldo. Thank you for sharing that. Osvaldo said Slideology spoke of not using presentation programs to gather ideas. Yes. He only wrote that because I just told him to write that, in fact. I'm kidding. I'm terrible. Okay, anyway, let us proceed. So yeah, so the 2.4 assignment, it's a plan. So you need to be able to write out in outline format your responses to the questions in the assignment. Now I'm going to show you guys a sample in just a jiffy. The other very, 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 very important thing about the 2.4 assignment is it's not a resume cover letter. That's not what it is at all. It's a plan. Everybody clear on that? So in other words, when I open up your 2.4 planning a presentation assignment, it shouldn't look like a cover letter. It shouldn't say something like, "Hi, my name is Elmer Garcia, and I wanted to talk to you about why you should hire me for blah 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 blah," right? Or, "Hi, my name is Eddie Tapia, and I'm here to talk to you about why you should hire me for Nintendo." Now, it shouldn't look like a resume cover letter at all. What it should look like instead, and I'm actually going to show you guys a sample in a bit, but it should look like kind of a broken down essay in outline format. So yeah, it is a plan. It's a plan. All right, so using PowerPoint, big no-no, big no-no. So what programs do I use for the 2.4, Eddie? Jeez. Are you gonna tell me or what? So Microsoft Word, Pages, or Google Docs, those kind of programs would be much better. Much, much better. Since you're going to be writing out your responses, you need to be able to look at them. Yeah, these three programs are ideal for the 2.4 planning a presentation assignment. Is that right? All right. So once you see the sample that I'm going to show you in a little bit, you'll understand exactly why. Okay, yeah, I see why Word would be better. And everybody should have access to Office 365 now. And as we all know, Office 365 has Microsoft Word in it. So, and I mean, if you absolutely hate Microsoft Word and you don't want to use Pages either, then Google Docs is a good way to go. Alrighty. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, just to kind of drive this point home. So yeah, PowerPoint, Keynote, Adobe Spark, those are all fine for next week's assignment when you're building a slideshow. It's fine for that, but not this assignment, not for the 2.4 assignment. All right. So now, bear with me. I know I'm going to get a lot of eye rolls. So, but this is, we often forget common sense stuff, right? I know I do. I'm guilty of this, but I just want to remind everybody before you use any kind of program, you want to review the program before you use it. Check out the FAQs, check out the specs, the requirements. Does it cost anything? Are there any fees whatsoever? Some programs online are absolutely free, 100%. no hidden costs or whatever. But you have to kind of make sure that make sure and most programs, they have a little button, little FAQ um, area where you can just click on that and find out within seconds. But it's always a problem if you end up spending hours learning about that program. Sorry, man, what's wrong with me? Learning about that program only to discover that it's not free. That is just a complete bummer. Or you find out that it doesn't, why is it crashing? Why can't it work? Why is it only working after 3 seconds? you know, come to find out it's just not compatible with your device. So yeah, just research whatever program works best for, yeah, does it do what you need it to do? Big, very, again, I know this is common sense stuff, but it's, when we're in a time crunch and we need something right away, we kind of forget this stuff. Yeah. So do make sure you do your homework. Whatever program you're using, these questions can save you a lot of headache. All right, so let's talk about the 2.4 assignment, the pitch. All right, let me exit out here for just a bit. Okay. Can we all see this? Everybody see this? All right, cool. Okay. All right, so check this out. So what I have before you is this is the home page, if you will, of the 2.4 activity assignment. All right, so let's check it out. So this is a nice little quote here to start us off with. Designing a presentation without an audience in mind is like writing a love letter and addressing it to whom it may concern. Bad, bad, bad. You don't want to ever do that. So presentations are very similar. You have to plan a presentation. Otherwise, you'll bomb. You'll improvise, and you never want to improvise. You're just going to be like kind of running around in circles. And yeah, so the more you plan, the better. A lot of us, we might be thinking, I'm kind of a free spirit. I don't like to plan things, but no, 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 no. Most of us, for example, if we know there's, let me see. Okay, if we know there's a hurricane on the way, yeah, if you know a hurricane is on its way, what are you going to do? You're going to plan. Some of us plan more than others, but you're never going to regret planning, right? Say, okay, I'm going to need this. I'm going to need a flashlight. I'm going to need batteries. I'm going to need water. I'm going to need this, right? So, yeah, it's just always a good idea, especially where a presentation is concerned. There are a couple of key components involved to be able to deliver an effective presentation. So in this 2.4 assignment, let's check it out. Planning is an essential step for creating and delivering a presentation. Proper preparation allows you to fully craft your story, identify your audience, and determine how to best communicate the most important ideas to them. And this is also a good time, like I said, where you're going to be figuring out, okay, how am I going to deliver this message? Am I going to use PowerPoint? Am I going to use Adobe Spark? Whatever the case may be, this is the time to figure it out. Consider potential obstacles in both, the production of it and the delivery of it. So yeah, there is a lot to think about, but now's the time to do it, not when you're actually on stage. Can't really do that when it's happening live. All right, so you won't be creating a presentation this week. This week, it's all about the plan. So instead, you're going to draft a detailed, keyword detailed plan for your final assignment in this course, which is going to be to pitch your future self to prospective employers in your chosen industry after graduating. So, in other words, let me see if I can. Fire it up there. Where did it go? Everybody there? You guys still with me? Okay, cool. Okay, good. My audio cut out. Okay. So, and I know this is very confusing right now, but it's going to make a lot more sense once I'm done. So take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Okay, so you're going to make a pitch. This week it's all about planning for the pitch, but next week you're going to construct a slideshow where you're making a pitch to a potential employer from the perspective that you've already graduated Full Sail. So you're going to pick any, I don't want to say any, but pick your favorite company. Pick your favorite company, your dream company that you would love to work with after graduating. So maybe, just for example, bear with me. Just for example, let's pretend that our dream is to work with Square Enix after we graduate. That's our dream, yeah? Or Bethesda. Yeah, that would work too. Okay, so this plan would be preparing for next week's pitch. So this plan, you're going to be doing all kinds of research on Square Enix or Bethesda. Or Treyarch, whatever it is, Disney, Pixar, you're going to be researching the heck out of that company. Um, what does it take to get into that company? What are their employees? What does the job that you want entail? What do they require their employees to know in that position? What kind of software must they be proficient in? Right? So you're going to be pitching to a company like Bethesda or Square Enix, whatever it is that you want, you'll be pitching from the perspective that you've already graduated Full Sail, right? So your pitch is going to sound a lot like this. It's going to sound something like, "Hi, my name is Eddie Tapia. I'm here to talk to you about why you should hire me for Naughty Dog. I recently graduated from Full Sail University. While at Full Sail University, I studied this. I completed this course and that course. I learned to be proficient in this software program and that software program." You see what I mean? It's going to sound a lot like that. Now, um, the more detailed that it is, the better your pitch will be. Because as most of us know, this pitch is in many ways like an interview. And as most of us know, most interviews, they want to know two things. Two things. They want to know who you are. Hey, is this person cool? Or can I work with them? Can my team work with them? Can my team get along with this person? They also want to know another thing. Are they qualified? What are their specific qualifications? So that's why research for this assignment is so important. So if you don't learn about what the job entails, what programs you will need to know, you won't be able to pitch that you know them. If you don't know what your degree program entails, if you don't know what you're going to be studying at Full Sail, you won't be able to pitch that to Blizzard or whatever the company is. All right, so bear with me. I got a lot more. What if you're overqualified? Then awesome. That should be a no-brainer for them. But that is the thing. That's the thing, Michael. To be able to convince them, of that, to be able to say and absolutely convince them without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, if you're overqualified, then it should be a no-brainer for them. You'll be able to negotiate a good salary, and everybody's happy. Anyhow, so moving right along. Okay, so these are the official instructions for the planning a presentation assignment, right? So as you can see here, it says again, don't use PowerPoint or any kind of presentation program for the 2.4 planning assignment, right? So here is where you need to be really detailed with your responses. Here are all the questions you will need to answer in your plan, right? So your plan to pitch yourself to a future employer should address all of the following. First of all, you have to know your target audience. You have to know who exactly are you going to be pitching to. It can't be just like some ghost or some random person. The more specific you are, the better you can prepare and tailor your presentation to connect with them, right? So internet research, of course, you're going to be utilizing the heck out of Google or whatever. Google the audience that you've chosen, what's important to them. Try to identify the need your audience might have. How do I know this? How do I know this, Eddie? Research the company. Research the company. Okay, moving along. What is your big idea? What are you offering the audience? And what do you want them to take away from the presentation? All right. Program research. This one is huge, folks. This one is really, really important. Research your degree program. Using your future courses as a guide. Consider how the skills from these classes allow you to help your audience. All right. So what you're going to want to do is before you even attempt to answer all the questions, do the research. Print this out, have it next to you, and as you're trying to answer them, be doing the research. Because you can't spontaneously go in here and just boom, 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 knock them out. Yeah, hit away. If you got that screenshot. But well, the cool thing is this is recorded. So yeah, if it's going too fast, I know I'm going over a ton of information right now. Don't worry, because it is recorded, and you'll be able to pause, rewind, and fast forward all that. All right. Okay. So yeah. I'm not going to go over every single one of these questions because I want you to do that. The point I would like to emphasize is the more detailed you are in answering each and every one of these questions, the better your presentation will be, the better your grade for this assignment will be. All right? Okay. All right. So let us shift gears a little bit. Okay. We are back to the keynote. So check this out. So yeah, we read over that one. Okay, so as I mentioned, target audience, this is a must. You have to identify your target audience. Absolutely. You can't just say, my target audience is all of humanity, or my target audience is everyone who can breathe. No, not really going to help you in a presentation. Because in most effective presentations, those presenters, they have studied their audience. They didn't just go in there blindly. Yeah, you can't say my target audience is everyone who loves music. Well, some people like only a certain kind of music and are not terribly open minded about other genres of music, right? So it's important that you really, really narrow down and target your audience. So know your audience. Research is probably the single most important factor for this assignment. So whatever industry you're going into, whether you're in game art, game design, music production, web design, mobile app, creative writing, digital cinematography, whatever programming, sportscasting, thank you, Landon, whatever industry you're going into, research that industry, research the role that you would love, your dream role, your dream company, research them inside and out. If it's whether it's a big company or a small company, learn about their CEOs. That is really interesting information. When you learn about their CEOs, their founders, what was their journey like? Where did they go to school? What did they study? Right? So research the industry. For example, if you're going into music production, research that industry. If your dream is to open up a studio, a record label, I would recommend researching a handful of recording studios, not just locally, but nationwide, the nationally world-renowned recording studios. Research the heck out of them. Who is their founder? What do they know? What do their engineers know? What software program are their engineers proficient in? That's the only way you're going to be able to convince your audience to go with you. Because if you're trying to start a recording studio, let me, as a film music composer, as a songwriter, musician, I can tell you, and a lot of you guys know this already, recording studios are super competitive. There is no shortage of recording studios. So you have to know, you have to research what's going to make yours different. Because you're going to have to be able to convince your audience to go to your recording studio and not the 10 others in your area. So research a handful, right? A lot of times they have websites. What some of my students have done in the past, this is not, you don't have to do this, but they've it's been helpful to them. They've actually called the companies that they wanted to work for, or the recording studios. They talk to them. Hey, what are you guys looking for in a candidate, in an engineer? What should I be working on? And you're going to get all kinds of responses. Keep in mind, keep in mind, sometimes you won't get a response. So yeah, that's really important. Don't wait for their response, because sometimes these companies, depending on how they are, what kind of day they're having, how big they are, they might have time to talk to you, they might not. That's why it's up to you to do other forms of research, like look on the internet, of course, look on YouTube, look for articles, interviews, whatever you can get your hands on. So yeah, what do companies, studios require from their engineers? What proficiency in software and hardware do they expect out of their candidates, out of their employees? So this is just one example. This is just one music production example. The idea that I'm really trying to just be really obnoxious about is you have to research. So yeah, this assignment, you can't expect to hope to get any kind of good information without researching. It's without researching, you're basically guessing what you need to know. And put it this way, if you ever are in the opportunity, ever have the opportunity to pitch for a company like that, whether it's when you graduate or in a few months, whatever the case may be, you certainly want to be able to know what you need to know. You can't just say, if you're pitching to Blizzard, for Pete's sake, you better have a lot more to say than just I love video games or I love your games, because they hear that a lot. And it doesn't make you stand out. They're just going to kind of roll their eyes and be like, oh, thanks, I appreciate that, but what can you do for our company? What exactly can you do for our company? So yeah, absolutely. It's like going into an interview without knowing a single thing about the company. Let's be honest, how many of us have done this before? Or maybe had to interview someone where it was just blatantly obvious? Anyone? No? Oh good. Oh good. Okay. So yeah, you don't yeah, it's rough. It can be it can be rough. You don't want to be in this position. You do not want to be in that position. So where to research? I already just to review the interweb. I like to say the interweb. It sounds fancy. YouTube. Look for interviews. Look for articles. Check out the company website. Sometimes they have job postings, and you will get a pretty good idea of what they require from their candidates. Sometimes they'll say 5 years proficiency in this, or certification in that, right? Okay, moving right along. So, yeah, here's another example. If you're I got a couple of you guys in game art, right? A couple of us game art students. Anybody thinking of working for a major league company, or even a smaller, indie game development company? Either way, either way, you should research the company. Research the company, everything you can learn about them. What do they require proficiency in? What software must they know? Yeah. Yeah. And even if, because I know a lot of you might not, you know, want to work with a company. Maybe you want to start your own recording label, recording studio, development company, web company. A lot of you guys already do that, and that is totally fine. But I still recommend doing the research, because the more you know about what's going on out there, the more you know about your competition, yeah, the more of an edge you're going to have over your competition. Absolutely, Heath. Heath just had a brilliant comment. Know thy enemy. I feel like that's from a movie too. I know it's to know my enemy. No, I'm thinking of The Last Samurai. Sorry, I digress. Anywho, okay. Well, cool. Yeah, Brianna, you run your own studio, so you absolutely know. It's very competitive. It's very competitive. All right. Yeah, this is something I hear very often. I don't know what I want to do when when I graduate, and that is totally fine. Here's the thing: this assignment is not to kind of pigeonhole anyone. Anyone. This assignment is simply to prepare you and to encourage you to look at your options now, as opposed to when you're graduating. Because hey, if you think things move fast now, man, the day you graduate, oh, things are going to be like light speed, especially if you have a family, or folks telling you, hey, do you have a job yet, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it is the truth. It is the truth. So this assignment, again, it's not designed to, yeah, if you picked for this assignment, if you told me, Eddie, uh my dream is to work with Pixar, or my dream is to be an Imagineer. Let's say that's what you research. That's who you research, and your entire plan is based off the research that you did for Pixar. 2 months later, you change your mind. Maybe 2 weeks later, you change your mind. That is perfectly fine. I'm not going to hunt you down and say, hey, you said this, and now you change your mind. Hey, we know. I know plans change. This assignment is just to encourage you to look at your options now, as opposed to when you're graduating. Um, 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 um. I'm just reading some comments here. Absolutely, Brandon. This is an interesting question Brandon brought up, so I'm just going to read it real quick, if you don't mind, Brandon. Um, so Brandon said, I have an indie film production company that's about to turn 3. Ultimately, I'm looking to use my degree in cinematography as a tool for my own knowledge, but to also credit myself for my company. My question is, can I design this pitch around marketing myself and my company to my target audience rather than a specific company? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so in other words, if you already have a company, then this pitch can be designed to a potential customer, a potential client, or even to a potential investor. So, so I still recommend doing the research, researching other companies. Know, again, know your enemy. Know your enemy. That way you can, oh, they offer this. Well, guess what? I offer this more. Does that make sense? So yeah, absolutely. If you have your own company, you can pitch it. You can approach this pitch as you're pitching, as if you were pitching to a potential customer or client. Yeah, I've had a few students in the past that they were web designers. They had their own small web design companies, and so they approached it that way, as if they were trying to convince a customer to choose them. All right. Sorry, had to chug the coffee. Okay. All righty. Let's proceed. So yeah, so if you may recall, when I was reading over the instructions for the 2.4 assignment, you probably saw this question. What is your big idea? Now, it let me just clarify what we mean by that. It's not about pitching any random crazy old idea that you've had since the third grade, like t-shirt company or flying shoes, whatever. You know, that is not what we mean by what is your big idea. The big idea is you. You're the new big idea. So this pitch is all about convincing a company, a customer, a client why they should hire you. See what I'm saying? So yeah, so your pitch should be directly related to your degree program also. In other words, this is important too. In other words, like when I open up your plan, I shouldn't have to like really struggle and guess what your degree program is. That and that often happens. So there's like, first of all, your pitch, it's got to be related to your degree program. I hope it is. It should be. Otherwise, it's kind of like, why? What's the point? So I would keep that in mind, but more so make sure that you write it down at the top. Maybe underneath your name. Just write whatever you're in, sportscasting, mobile apps, creative writing, digital cinematography, audio production. Right, jot that down. Jot that down. All right. Hang on one second, folks. Sorry. So sorry. Um, Glitching out here. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay. You'll have to let me know about that later, Asfaldo. Okay. All right. Moving right along. No worries. It's cool. Um, so yeah, star moment. Hopefully you read already about what the star moment is, and the star moment is look at it kind of like your mic drop moment. Now, you should never drop a mic, first of all, but because they're not cheap. At any rate, a star moment is something they will always remember from your presentation. It kind of is a turning point. It kind of is. It's something that they'll never forget. So there's different ways of using a star moment. A star moment can be a powerful quote that you share with your audience. It can be a shocking statistic. That always gets an audience's attention. If you throw out some kind of like shocking statistic, some fact that isn't really known to the general public, people are usually like, whoa, wow, And quotes are really great because quotes are designed to make you think. Every time we read a quote, we kind of scratch our head and are like, oh, yes, I'm going to make a meme out of that or whatever. But a star moment it can be a story. It can be a personalized story, a very moving story that you share with your audience. What do we know about stories? People remember stories. They remember stories more so than if you just throw up a bunch of words on a slide. So yeah, keep that in mind for your plan because one of the things that they're going to ask you in the plan is what is your star moment? What is your star moment? I'll tell you what a star moment is not. A star moment is not when you say to your audience how much you love video games. That's not a star moment. You know why? Because it's not unique. There are a lot of people who love video games, or saying that you love music or that you're passionate about music. It's very cliche. We know that. A star moment is something really special, really different, really unique. So, some things to think about. So, ideas are just ideas, unless, of course, they are backed by specific points. So, you never want to just say, I want to change the world through my music. There's nothing wrong with that. If you really do, hey, more power to you. I commend you. I'm all for that, for that, right? But it's a very, very generalized statement. Paul, you said, what if your star moment about how video games affect your life? It would, again, it would have to be a very unique story because video games affect, obviously I am a huge, huge advocate for video games. But, and I would never just come right and say, video games have changed my life. I would come up with a specific moving story as to why and how they moved, sorry, changed my life. You see what I'm saying? Oh, the more specific you can be, the better. Okay, cool, cool. Landon, good question. No, that's fine. It's totally cool. Landon asks, will our voice be included in the final presentation for the pitch next week in your first draft presentation? Your voice will need to be included along with your slideshow. But again, I don't want to stress anybody out. I'm going to show you some examples for that, and after you take a look at those examples, you're going to feel a lot better. Totally. All right. Okay. So yeah. So you want in this plan, you want to be thinking about your qualifications. How do you find out if you're qualified? How do you find out the qualifications are needed to work for Bethesda? The researching their website, researching YouTube, learn all you can about what it takes to work there. Because everyone and anyone can come up with an idea. And what people say it all the time. I have a great idea for a film. Okay, I do too. Right? So in this case, you want to talk about your Full Sail journey. It's the specific knowledge you gained from your industry of choice, right? And another thing, we briefly learned about this on the instructions. You want to research your degree program. This is huge as well. Really, really important. So, whatever degree program you're in, music production, audio production, game art, again, it doesn't matter. For this assignment, you have to research your specific degree program. How do you do that? Well, you don't have to go right this second, but after this session, when you're working on the assignment, go to the main Full Sail website. Go to the main Full Sail website, click on your specific degree program, and there should be a little button that says courses. Courses. Click on courses, and there you're gonna it changes a little bit from time to time, so I don't know if it's on the left or the right hand side specifically, so but just be prepared to navigate on that area where it says courses. You should be able to see a downloadable area where you can see all of the courses you'll be taking in your degree program. Now, here's what I want you to do. With a fine-tooth comb, you should be looking at every single course from month 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to graduation. Because the more you know about your degree program, the more you're going to be able to pitch, the better you'll be able to pitch yourself. Right? You can't just say, I recently graduated from Full Sail University, and yeah, so hire me. Hire me. No, you have to be able to say, I recently graduated from Full Sail University, and I completed courses in mixing and mastering and audio workstations, and I worked in Logic and Pro Tools and blah, 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 blah. See, the more specific, the better. The better. And you should be doing this anyway. You would be surprised how many people don't really look through. I'm talking really look through the courses they're going to be taking in their degree program. You can do that, Jessica. Jessica said, I've done that a lot already. Good for you, by the way. That is awesome. But still feel the info wasn't enough. So how about contacting our program directors? You could try also with your student liaisons. Each course, depending on what area you clicked on, there is an area that has descriptions for each course. And you could probably find even more about that class online. Definitely want to reach out to your online student liaison as soon as you can. They're awesome. They're awesome people. Okay, so oh yeah, well, I know where I was going also with this. So you know what's happened a lot in the past is when students really take a look at their degree program and and learn exactly what classes they're taking, they come to realize that they want to change their mind about the degree program. They were like, okay, I thought I was going to be learning this, but now I understand that this degree offers what I was actually hoping to learn. So they end up changing degree programs. But that, better to do that now than when you're in month 7, right? Or month 8, whatever. Cool. All right. So I think you're referring to the OS cells. Just check your email, check your voicemail, call the main full cell number, and you should be able to. Because I'm sure they might have already tried to reach out. They usually do on a weekly basis. All right. So yeah, do your research. Do your research, please, in order to fully answer each question in the 2.4 instructions. Very important. Yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier. At the top, there should be no doubt what field you're in, what area of expertise you're in. So definitely jot that down at the top of your 2.4 assignment. I would just write your name, as always, name, date, degree, program, and the title of assignment. Cool. And these are I mentioned this earlier, but just to emphasize, these are the programs that you can use for the 2.4 planning assignment. Eddie, can we use PowerPoint? No, no, and no. All right, I'm back. I just had to get that out of my system. Okay, moving right along. Oh, before I talk about the 2.3 assignment, who wants to see a 2.4 sample? Anyone? Nobody? Oh, good. Okay, cool. Okay, good. All right, this is good. All right, let's check this out. Okay, all right, keep in mind what I'm showing you guys, you can't download it, but obviously since the session is recorded, you can always pause it and read over it. I'm not going to read over everything line by line, but it's mainly I'm showing you this to give you a general idea of what the structure of your plan should look like. All right? Okay, check this out. So this student, everybody see this? Let me know. One second. Okay, so this student received very high marks. They got a really good grade on this plan. Now, the reason that they got high marks on their plan, a couple of reasons. First and foremost, the detailed responses. As you'll see for each of the questions. Now, this might look a little bit different. The questions might be phrased a tiny bit different from the instructions, but again, I'm just showing you to give you a general idea of what your format and structure should look like. So yeah, they got a good grade because of their detailed responses and because of how organized this is. Now, so the target audience, this student decided that they want to work with Netflix when they graduate. So check this out. The target audience is the executives at Netflix who have the power to decide which TV movie scripts are greenlit. They want someone with creative and original ideas who can sell themselves as well as their script. Netflix would be ideal because I would be given more creative freedom as opposed to working for a network. Right? Okay, so again, I'm not going to read every single thing in that response, but I wanted to give you an idea. One of the very first things, of course, is we know, just immediately who their target audience is. Now, scrolling down a little bit, true message. I'm doing this presentation because I want my story script to be out there for people to see. I want people to connect with it and learn from it, and maybe even bond with other people over it. After watching my presentation, I want my audience to feel the emotions I use in my voice and in the story. Right? Scrolling down a little bit. My future self. I imagine myself as someone who's worked in the entertainment business for at least a few years after graduating from Full Sail. I may or may not have a book published. I've worked my way up in the industry from starting as an assistant or staff writer for someone else. I've gained popularity through publishing works online and gaining an audience. So, and in many ways, this assignment is always is a little bit about like your you're considering your future. Obviously, you're considering where you would like your future to be. But more so, in order to really deliver a convincing pitch, you're going to need to research the industry, research that company, research your competition. Right? Okay. Scrolling down. Now, this is where it gets really important too, because they don't just go up there to Netflix and they don't just say, hey, I love Netflix. I watch Netflix all the time when I'm in the car on my phone. It's great. Got a lot of movies I can watch and a lot of shows. No, they don't just say that. They also go into detail about their qualifications, specifically talking about some important courses they studied and completed at Full Sail. Valuable skills I would have learned from my degree at Full Sail are script writing, how to think and write visually, how to do research to make my stories as real as possible, how to develop stories. Sorry. Back. Okay, I'm back. Did I lose you? Everybody still there? Okay, cool. Sorry about that. All right, so what I want to show you guys is the list of courses that they listed out here. These skills would come from courses such as script writing techniques, visual thinking and writing, literary techniques and development, developing new worlds, environmental and historical research, workshop, film and television writing. Okay. Now, here's another thing I want you to consider when you are researching your degree program. When you're kind of planning out what courses you want to talk about in your pitch, I would really pick the ones that are going to help your chances of getting into that company, right? Okay, so for example, let's just pretend that you want to be an engineer at Hit Factory, a music studio, right? Let's just pretend you want to work for them in an interview. You're pitching yourself to them, and you say, I recently graduated from Full Sail. I completed courses like college mathematics and English composition. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to be like, okay, good for you, I guess, but do you know Cubase or Logic or Pro Tools? What can you tell me about mixing and mastering, right? So that's why I'm saying, really, with a fine tooth comb, pick the courses you think are going to impress your audience, your target audience, the interviewer, the client, the customer, whatever the pitch may be. Does that make sense? Now, of course, I'm not going to get hurt feelings if you don't pick creative presentation, um, right? But if you think it's going to help the pitch, if you're applying, if you're pitching for a position that actually expects you to go around the country giving talks and presentations, creating presentations, that, then of course, yeah, mention create a presentation. But if not, you don't have to. Again, find the courses that you think are going to help your chances. Jessica, you said, do you want it to only be in paragraph form, or can we use bullet points for some areas? That I would say either one is fine. Paragraph form, outline form. The idea is that it needs to be every question needs to be answered in detail. So whether you structure it in paragraph form or bullet points, either one is fine. But it should be as organized as this one. All right. Okay, now check this out. Okay, cool. Check this out. Presentation flow. So here is where you're going to be asked to really think about how you want the presentation to go. In other words, what do you think you're going to talk about in the beginning of your presentation? What are you going to talk about in the middle of your presentation? What are you going to talk about at the end of your presentation, right? Now, keep in mind, folks, I don't expect you to know word for word what you're going to say in next week's presentation. But what I'd like to see is a general idea, right? General idea. So here, this student talked a little bit about what they want to say in the beginning to tell the story of how I got into entertainment writing. I would have to tell how I first got into reading. I was 5 years old when I first watched the movie Matilda, a movie adaptation of a story about a girl with telekinetic powers. Awesome movie, by the way. All right. So obviously in the beginning, that's what they decided to talk about in their presentation. Now, beginning, move to the middle. In the middle of the presentation, I'm a qualified candidate because not only have I been writing several types of media for years and gained an audience, I've learned, developed, and mastered skills from my education at Full Sail. So obviously in the beginning, she kind of talks about where it all started. She kind of talks a little bit about herself, but in the middle, she hones down and talks about her specific professional qualifications. In the end, she talks about what she wants to do, what she hopes to bring the industry, what she hopes to bring to the table for Netflix. Kind of talks a little bit about her vision and so on. All right. Okay. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but again, this is just to give you an idea of how detailed your responses should be. And you're not going to be able to get this level of response, this detail, unless you do the proper amount of research. Cool. All right. So that is the 2.4 assignment. You're making a pitch next week, but this week you're preparing for that pitch. And the only way to prepare for that pitch is to really, with a fine-tooth comb, answer the questions from the instructions. Who's your target audience? What do they want? What do they expect? What can you offer them? What specific skills will you be able to bring to the table from Full Sail University? In other words, what courses, right? All right. So let's scroll out of here. Okay, so let's talk about the 2.3 assignment. The emotional storytelling discussion. Everybody see this page okay? Anyone? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we are on the same page. All right, check this out. 2.3, this is kind of the summary homepage of the activity. You'll want to, of course, Download the instructions and read them thoroughly. After nourishment, shelter, and companionship, stories are the thing we need most in the world. All right, so take a look-see. For this discussion, you'll demonstrate the concepts of Hale and the vocal toolbox, by creating an audio-visual project about your favorite work of art. Favorite work of art? What do you mean? Let me explain. First, let me read this. Choose one you feel emotionally connected to and discuss it using the prompts located in the instruction file below. As you convey your thoughts, incorporate the concepts from the Julian Treasure TED Talk into your journey. So yes, I definitely recommend checking out this video right here and this vocal toolbox video as well. Okay, so later in the week, return to the discussion and select at least 2 classmates to interact with about their project, right? So your replies should address what they talked about. Give them constructive feedback about their recording. All right, so yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but just as a review, this assignment has got 2 deadlines. The first one, the recording, is due Thursday. The reply posts are due Sunday. Okay? All right, let's take a look. Where are you? Okay. Okay, so you're going to be picking your favorite piece of art. Now, art has a huge umbrella. There can be a lot of things that fall under the umbrella of art. I'm gonna talk a little bit about your options. Okay, so it can be anything ranging from a painting, a song, a movie, a video game, a symphony, an opera. Um, Man, the options are quite limitless. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, that the umbrella of art is quite large, quite large. So I will say this though, if you're thinking about talking about your own original work, like maybe you wrote a song that you want to talk about, it's your favorite, or a painting that you wrote, I will caution you. Let me start with a story. So I had a student in the past. They wanted to talk about their favorite piece of art, and they chose to talk about a painting that they painted, something they did. So that's what they wanted to talk about. So this painting, it was very special to them because every year he would go to his grandma's house over the summers, and she was also a painter. She was also an artist. So every summer they would work on it together. Every summer it would get a little bit more advanced, and they'd share some feedback, they'd talk about it, and he would learn new things about painting from his grandma. So when his grandmother passed away, that painting had a lot of meaning to him. So yes, that example, that story right there, that's a great story. That's a great story. I also had another student who they decided to talk about a song that they wrote. Now, what they talked about was they presented the song, but they also talked exactly what the song was about. They said in the beginning of the song, you'll notice that it's kind of very mellow, it's very peaceful, it's very happy. In the middle of the song, it gets a little bit progressively more upbeat, but by the end of the song, it's very chaotic. It's a lot of discord going on, a lot of chaos, but the end of the song represented his marriage. The whole song, in fact, represented his marriage. The beginning of the marriage, very nice, very pleasant, but by the end of the marriage, just, like I said, chaos. So yeah, in that case, those are good examples. Those are good stories. What I don't want is, I don't want, hey, I decided to talk about a song I wrote. Here's my song. It's awesome. I'm the best, and you're not. The end. Right? That's not a story. That is not a story. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If you want to talk about your own original work, that's fine. But think about, does it have, what kind of story can you tell us about it? All right. Okay, so yeah, like I said, there's a lot of options to choose from out there. Anything from if you want to talk about The gorgeous artwork in Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, then yeah, absolutely, or Witcher, or God of War, the stories in God of War. You want to talk about some one of your favorite films, why you love it so much? Yeah, talk, absolutely, absolutely. Talk about that. Moving right along. Okay, so just to clarify, sports. Now, I happen to be a big sports fan. Football, baseball, skateboarding. Not for this assignment. For this assignment, I want something more along the lines of the art realm. All right. Okay. Um, Alexander, good question. Alexander said, now that I think about it, if we're using a song, would we play parts of it? Here's the thing. What I don't want is if you talk about a song, don't play like 2 minutes of the song and then talk for 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? The bulk of the presentation should be you talking. If you want to have the song playing in the background, that's totally fine. But again, very, very, very important. Make sure we can hear you. Make sure we can hear you. Or if you want to include a link to that song, that's fine too. That way we can click on the song that you're talking about and we can see why it's so awesome. Cool. That's a good idea too, Osvaldo. Yeah, absolutely. Osvaldo said I was going to have my presentation and the link associated to what I was speaking of in the description. That's totally fine. It can indeed be about a video game. The very, very important thing to remember, whatever you decide to talk about, make sure you answer all of the questions from the instructions. Yeah, that's huge, huge. Yep, yep, yep. All right. So yeah, it has to be some kind of art, like painting, movie, song, symphony, sculpture, um, video game. If you're kind of on the fence, you're not sure, just send me an email, etapia@fullsail.com. Send me an email and yeah, we'll shoot around some ideas. All right. Okie dokie. I actually got this student, I'm sorry, question. Can somebody asked, somebody asked, they wanted to talk about horror, horror movies. And I said, yeah, absolutely. You're more than welcome to talk about horror films, but if you can kind of narrow it down to one or two films, that's fine as well. The more specific, the more you can narrow it down, the better, because it just helps as far as giving your audience an idea of what exactly you're talking about, right? Okay, so do I have everyone's attention? Okay. Excellent. Very, very awesome. Okay, so yeah, everybody check this out. So for this assignment, a 2.3 emotional storytelling assignment, you don't need to film yourself. In fact, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it simply because it's harder, first of all, and what usually ends up happening is people tend to start improvising, or they'll kind of look off into space or look at the ground or look at their feet. And the whole idea, if you're going to do a presentation, the whole idea is you want to look at your audience. And so this is challenging if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing and you have some experience, a lot of people have their own YouTube channels, then I'd say fine if you know what you're doing. But if not, I don't recommend it because it is challenging. It is challenging, and especially because there's a lot of factors to have a halfway decent YouTube channel. You have to have good lighting. You have to consider your background, good audio. So yeah, so you don't need to film yourself, and if you do, please, no shaky cameras. This isn't Blair Witch. Or found footage, right? So yeah, no, no. If you do decide to film yourself, just keep the camera on a flat surface and walk away. I mean, don't walk away from it, but you know what I mean. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. All right. So just to clarify for this assignment, you can turn in an audio only recording where it's just audio. It's just you. It's just your voice talking about your favorite piece of art, or it could be audio with images, kind of like a slideshow. Those are your options. If you're not feeling like doing a slideshow, you don't want to mess around with Adobe Spark or PowerPoint or whatever, that's fine. If you don't want to do that, that is totally fine. If you want, but I need to at least hear your voice. Is that clear? Does that make sense? So the two options again are audio only recording or audio with images, kind of like a slideshow. Okie dokie. Yay. Okay, so possible programs to use for the emotional storytelling assignment. Again, this is not mandatory. You don't have to use a slideshow, but if you want to, Adobe Spark is really user-friendly. Really user-friendly. Keynote, you can do that. PowerPoint. For this assignment only. Now remember, the 2.4, we do not use these assignments. Okay, or it can just be audio. Okay, that was the last of the coffee, and now I'm very disappointed. Somebody bring me cup number 7, please. Don't judge. All right. Okay, moving right along. So again, I know you're gonna roll your eyes. So for the 2.4 assignment, the planning a presentation assignment, do not use PowerPoint. Do not use a presentation program like that. You're going to be using something like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Pages. For the emotional storytelling assignment, it's okay if you use a presentation program, but you don't have to. It can be audio only, or it can be a slideshow. All right. So yeah, a lot of students do they do their 2.3 assignment on their phone, and it works just fine. You don't have to have like heavy duty equipment for this assignment. They just record their voice on their phone and they upload the file that way. Works just fine. Is that right? Okie dokie. And I have this again just as a reminder. I know I mentioned this in week 1, but Audacity is, if you need it, you might not even need it for this assignment, but if you need a free online audio editing program, Audacity is pretty cool, pretty user friendly. There's tons. Yes, is it Savon? Did I pronounce your name correctly? Savon? Savon. Sorry. If I Okay, thank you. I cannot stand it when when I butcher people's names. I'm sorry. Savon said Reaper is also free. I've heard of that program as well. It might be something that you'll need for next week's assignment for sure. But again, there's a couple of online options, and there's a lot of resources, a lot of YouTube videos on how to use it. So just FYI. So some tips for the 2.3 emotional storytelling assignment. Like I said, you'll definitely want to check out the Julian Treasure video prior to attempting to complete it, and the Vocal Toolbox video. But yeah, you'll definitely want to label your file, whatever you decide to talk about. Make sure you jot that down. So, for example, when you post your MP3 or your PowerPoint or whatever it is, you're going to want to have your name on it, the name of the art. If you decided to talk about Naruto, jot that down. I always get just really, I go bonkers when somebody will talk about this really, really cool movie. And I'm like dying here. It sounds like a life changing movie. And then at the end, they'll be like, and that's why I decided to talk about the film called. And I'm like, what? What is it? What is the name of it? I must know. So yeah, just jot it down so we all know and we can all appreciate it. Its awesomeness. Yeah. Also include the title of it. All right. Anybody nervous about this? Anyone? Come on. It's okay. It's okay to be a pinched nerve. Okay, thank you. Nerves of steel, a little bit. It's fine. Here's the thing. Uh, I want you to have fun with the 2.3 assignment because this is by far one of my favorite assignments. I learned so much about you guys through these assignments. They're pretty awesome. I learned so much. Period. That I learned about cool new music, cool new rock bands, cool new video games, shows. That's how I learned about Naruto, for Pete's sake. Like I told you last week. So yeah, have fun with it. Don't be nervous. The cool thing about the industry that you're going into, unless you're a singer or a voice actor, typically nobody cares how you sound. Nobody cares how you sound. What they do care about is they care about the product. They care about what you make, what you can produce. That they care about what kind of a website you can make or video game you can make, right? What kind of logo you can create, etc. And when all's said and done, um, I hate to break it to you folks, but nobody sounds nerdier than me. Nobody. So don't try to challenge me in that arena. Okay. So but for real, if you are nervous, a couple things that will definitely help is, and I can't stress this enough, write out a good script first. I'm not saying you have to read from your script word for word. That would be awful because then you'd sound like a robot. But a script is going to help you. First of all, it's going to help you really nail down the key points of the assignment. You want to make sure in your script that you're answering the questions from the instructions. Because if you try to wing it, if you try to improvise, what's going to happen? You're going to probably go under the minimum time requirements, or you're going to go over it, or you're going to forget to talk about a major point, right? So yeah, write out a script, practice your script, that just become familiar with it. Be familiar with it. What I always like to say is, when you write out a script, rehearse it so many times that if you were to read it to me over the phone, I wouldn't even know it. You know what I mean? That's how good you should be at it. And again, I'm not saying you need to memorize it, but just know how to say it, know how to talk it. So yeah, the other thing is I would definitely time it. Once you write out your script, once you feel like, okay, I got everything down there, I answered all the questions, then rehearse it, speak it out loud, time it, because it's got to be between 2 to 3 minutes long. Has to be. Has to. Has to. That's a really good point to Michael articulate. It really, again, some of these tips that I'm throwing out here, they sound like complete no-brainer, common sense stuff, but it's really a simple, easy way to kind of connect with your audience. If you're mumbling, when somebody mumbles to you, what do you generally think? They kind of sound like, first of all, they don't want to talk to you. They're kind of indifferent, right? So articulating or at least speaking up, you know. Um, so yeah, rehearse your script, articulate like Michael said. Um, what else? What else? Oh, passion, folks. Passion is key. OMG. I hate to nerd out on you, but it is very true now. Now, my passion might be different than your passion, but we all have it. And I think it's safe to say that's why we're here. We are passionate about video games, we are passionate about music. Now, here's the thing, I don't expect you to sound like Daffy Duck after 12 Red Bulls. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you should definitely sound like you're into what you're talking about, you know? It's true. I don't expect that. I don't expect it. But yeah, articulate. You don't have to race through what you're saying. Just get into it. Just get into what you're talking about. Do not try to wing it. Uh-uh. This is no bueno. It's no good. We don't try to wing it. Okay? What happens when we try to wing it? We're going to fall short of the time requirement. We're going to go over the time requirement. So, yeah, do not. Don't do it. So, how long is this presentation, by the way? Anyone? How long is it? 2.3? Yes. Yes, and yes. Very good. No, 2 minimum, 3 maximum. So it's got to be a minimum of 2 minutes, a maximum of 3 minutes. That's another reason why you really, really need to write a script out, because you don't want to like find out, oh my gosh, I'm at 7 minutes. Guess what happens then? You're going to lose points. I don't want anybody to lose points. Okay? You don't want to lose points. All right, cool. Sorry, I just had to say it again. Just in case anybody was, you know, watching some telly. All right. No 7 minutes. So emotional, favorite. The heck do you mean, Eddie? I don't like that word emotional. I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, Eddie wants us to do this assignment and it's kind of really touchy feely and I don't feel comfortable. When I say emotional, I just simply mean talk about something that you just feel excited about, right? That you're really into. You know, don't casually mention, oh yeah, I like to show friends. It's kind of funny. No, talk to me about a movie or a show that if it was the last show you had to watch, what would it be? You know? Kind of like that. Something that you're really into. And the key word is story, of course. Don't just tell me about your favorite piece of art, right? Tell me why it's your favorite, what it means to you. This assignment you're recording, it should not sound like a book report. It should not sound like a biography, right? Yeah, if it is a book, I'm not saying you can't talk about a book, but if it is a book, you only need to give me a brief summary. Just tell me what it's about. But hey, I don't need a plot by chapter, play by play. Just give me a brief summary. Overall, the majority of what you need to be talking about is why it's important to you. What does it mean to you? When did you discover it, right? Yeah, and again, just a reminder, make sure you type out what it is that you're talking about. So, yeah, I chose to talk about the video game The Last of Us, and awesome video game, by the way. Sorry, that's just my 2 cents. You maybe you hate it. I don't know, but I love it. Anyway, I digress. All right, so shifting gears here a little bit. Okay, so you might, like I said, you might be playing around with a presentation program for the 2.3 assignment. Um, and just one thing to keep in mind, if you're using PowerPoint on a mobile device, just know that it doesn't have a record feature. So it will let you make a slideshow, but it won't let you record audio. Okay, I just wanted to point that out there because like I said, whatever program you're going to be using, I want you to make sure that make sure that it does what you need it to do. It should be okay for laptop, Taylor. Um, but again, I would definitely do your homework and don't take my word for it. Okay. What I do know is I know Adobe Spark typically works well for iOS users. So if you are a Mac user, I'm not sure if it works with Android or PC. Again, double check. But a lot of our students do use Adobe Spark. Pretty user friendly. All right. So yeah, definitely research the internet. Whatever, just type in best presentation program for well, whatever it is you use. All right. Okay. So yeah, just for a reminder, next week, that's when you're going to be creating your first full-blown slideshow presentation using a program such as, but not limited to, PowerPoint, Keynote, Adobe Spark. And that's when you're going to need to have audio and visuals. And by that I just mean, like I said, slideshow. It's got to have pictures in it, but you'll be narrating it. The cool thing about the 2.3 assignment and next week's pitch is it's not live. You're not going to be standing in front of a huge audience of 100 strangers. You're going to be recording. So yeah, with recordings you can always edit. So that's nice, right? No? Well, I think so. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just a little reminder. Just a little reminder. So definitely check out lynda.com for tutorials. If you're, because I was reading your 1.3 discussions, and I know a lot of you guys have used PowerPoint in the past. So this would be a great place to get a little refresher. Lynda.com has got some awesome tutorials on PowerPoint and Keynote and Adobe Spark. So check it out. PowerPoint, I'm sorry, Michael, Adobe Spark is free. Yes, indeed. Very good tip there, Osvaldo. Would be good practice if you record yourself. Yeah, and I'm going to go a step further and say, before recording yourself, whatever you do, like if you decide to record, do a couple of test runs. And again, that sounds like a no-brainer. Like, of course I'm going to do that, Eddie. But do a couple of test runs, a couple, can we hear you, and so on. Is there a noisy dog in the background? Are you sitting next to a noisy refrigerator or AC unit? That kind of thing. Those are some things we need to think about. All right, so yeah, after today's session, definitely check out lynda.com. Do you remember, folks, how to use it or how to access it? I can type it here if you don't. If you need, so to use it for as I mentioned last week, lynda.com is free to all Full Sail students, but depending on how you access it, if you just go to Google, type in lynda.com, they'll try to charge you. But if you go through FS Connect, go to FS Connect, click on the library. Once you click on the library, you'll see lynda.com there. If you go that way, it's free. All right. Okie dokie. Let's see here. And yeah, Audacity. Sorry. Okay. So, okay. So yeah, those are your two assignments for the week. Before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed on the 2.3 discussion board that I posted 2 student samples. Has anybody had the opportunity to check them out? Oh, good. Yeah, awesome. You will definitely want to check out those 2 student samples that I posted. They received really good marks for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, their delivery. They have really good delivery. As when you play it back, when you listen to it, you'll notice there's no awkward pauses. There's no likes, it's just pretty fluid from beginning to end. The other is they really nailed all the questions from the instructions. Really, really good recordings. I can't stress it enough. Take a look. Take a looks. Glad you liked them. Yeah, definitely check them out. Check them out. They're fun. They're fun. All right. So have fun with this assignment, people. Don't be nervous. Do not be nervous. Have fun. I'm looking forward to listening to them. So that is about it. Oh, good, good. I'm pleased. I am pleased. So that is about it. 2.4 assignment is due Sunday. The recording part of your 2.3 emotional storytelling assignment is due Thursday. Reply posts due Sunday. Unfortunately not, Jessica. Jessica asked, are we ever able to resubmit an assignment after it's graded with our corrections to get a couple of extra points? Sorry. I'm sorry. But the good thing is that that was just the first assignment. You have plenty of time to, if bring it up. I don't recall what grade it was. But yeah, just keep that in mind. No biggie. Alrighty. All right, folks. This is the time where I bid farewell and adieu to everyone. Get started on those assignments. You'll definitely want to get started. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Do not hesitate. All right, folks. Any questions, don't hesitate to email me at etappy@fullsail.com. Thanks, everyone, for attending. All right, folks, take care.